Hi, and welcome to our post-episode discussion podcast. I think we're going to call it Drinks and Discussion, maybe? I don't know. Discussion Drinks. So that being said, I've got a Tequila Paloma made by the Cinco Drink Co., new drink company based out of Vancouver. And these are dynamite. Paloma's my favorite drink. It's got like tequila, grapefruit soda, a little bit of lime. Usually have a little bit of salt on the rim. So good. What do you guys have?
Those are amazing. I'm drinking White Claw because I live under a rock and I've never had White Claw until last week, and it's my favorite thing in the world.
Oh, so good. So refreshing.
I am drinking some rum because it's tasty.
No eggnog?
No.
What
Do you
brand
like
of rum?
eggnog?
What kind of rum?
Bacardi Añejo. I haven't had it in a really long time, and I forgot that I like it. And I've got a little bit of, if I drink too much, I got a little bit of bubbly to chase it. If that's, I don't know if that's a sin or not. It's probably some boozy people that are probably like, what the,
This is just drinks with friends. We don't care about what boozy people
There's no
think.
judgment
There's
here.
no judgment.
And you know what?
Right.
The only people that
There's
are
a
going to
little
see
bit of
this, the only people that are going to see this after our snack time episode are going to be our Patreon subscribers. So this is going to be bonus content for them. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe one day. Right now, we don't have any Patreon subscribers, let alone regular subscribers, but
Let alone a Patreon.
let alone a Patreon. Yeah, and I've been doing a lot of like not researching into like Patreon, but like just trying to like. I've been watching a lot of. It's weird because this is a new YouTube channel we've started. There's no like watch history because I don't watch. Like I have my own YouTube account to watch YouTube videos, right? So it's just whatever it recommends to me. And I think maybe I looked up a tutorial for like video editing or something while I was logged into this YouTube, and now literally all I get recommended to me on my recommended feed for this for our Video Club Reviews YouTube channel when I'm like as a consumer on it is just videos on how to grow your YouTube channel. That's all it is. It's just channels on how to grow your channel or how to make content or how to make thumbnails or how to make titles or how to do anything or keep people engaged. And so I've been watching a lot of that content. Some of it's really good. I found a couple of channels that are really, really good. One's called Film Booth and one's called Hillier Smith. Hillier Smith is the editor for Logan Paul. Whether or not you hate him or like I can't stand Logan Paul and Impulsive and Jake Paul, but his editor, obviously he pays for like top-notch editing, right? He pays for a really good editor. So this guy is like one of like the best, most sought after like YouTube editors. And he's got his own channel now where he's like sharing information and doing like little kind of classes and master classes on how to edit and make more engaging content. It's pretty interesting. I have some neat stuff that I want to definitely try out, but it's also very daunting. It takes a lot of research and time just to like make one video.
Everything that I found out, and being honest, like you talked about how much research you've done into analytics and view counts and traffic and all that stuff. And then this is for podcasts and YouTube. This is my first stuff that's ever going to go on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I haven't put anything on it. But when you stream, like streaming Twitch, like I want to add a little bit into it. I don't know how to do this. So I found out how to do a voice command bot. And then I have to make a bot, which I had to make another Twitch channel. And then I had to link that Twitch channel to this software and this. And it's like all I wanted to do was make it like a 30-second blurb for somebody. But it took me like 6 hours of researching and programming and thinking of something that would be unique and catchy. And all of a sudden it's just like, okay, I'm not even doing this full time. This is a hobby. Like I work full time. I stepped out of here half the time. And I want to spend time with the wife and the family, but then it's like I have all these ideas, and I have no time to implement them, or the drive. Sometimes I'm just like I'm too tired. I'm too tired to dive into something that's going to be 4 hours, and I might be 20% done after that amount of time. Anyways, so do the counter of my eyebrow every time I'm intrigued, like that one. It's not The Rock. It's when I'm listening. My own mind's got a monologue going on. I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next, and then one of you guys will say something. I'm like, wait a minute. And then it'll slowly come back.
You smell what Rob is cooking?
We definitely smell what you're cooking.
No, my brain was intrigued at that moment. I also noticed now that I've been doing this, and this is what I was going to say before, but we weren't recording, is since streaming and all this stuff, you start to like look at your face, everything else. I like almost have like Michael Keaton eyebrows. They're like pointy. Like they're risen up. Like Jim's are more straight across, and mine are just like...
You have eyebrows that girls pay hundreds per month to get shaped, so
interesting.
It's true story. You have beautiful eyebrows.
Also, on that note, I'm not self-conscious about this little bastard, But what is always interesting is how young kids address that. It's like the most shocking thing that they've ever seen. And elderly, like Ashlyn's grandmother, great-grandmother. Oh, Ashlyn's grandmother just points like, "Oh, darling, you have a fat lump on your head." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." She's like, "Did you know it's there?" I'm like, "It's on my face." So my immediate knee-jerk reaction is to be mean.
Yeah.
Because this isn't a giant family dinner. There's like 20 people at the table. She's like, "You have a big fat lump on your head." I'm like, "I know." She's like, "Did you know it was there?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's on my face." I
Do you ever look at yourself?
Yeah, and then when a kid does it, a kid is always, it's interesting. Like they point at it like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's a bump." And one kid's like, "Why? How do you have that?" I'm like, "That's my Van Damme bump." And they have no idea who Jean-Claude Van Damme is, but I feel the need to tell them. Like I headbutted somebody too hard to like. And this kid was like, "Oh, okay," like totally made sense. He's like, "Yeah, okay."
Makes sense.
And then he's like, "All right, see," and walks away. And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
I think you should tell them it's a twin that you absorbed.
That will mess with a kid's mind.
And you know why I absorbed him? Because he was being rude and he pointed out my other bump.
Yeah, okay. I should do that to the kids that are my neighbors, because that'll be great when their parents walk out of the door and look at me like, "Listen, asshole."
I'll absorb your mom or dad next.
They run away screaming.
Yeah, no, I definitely noticed the eyebrow raising when I was editing the last couple of videos. I just thought it looked like you were curious or like you were like intrigued by something. It was pretty funny. I also noticed that the three of us specifically on here, Teal, not at all, not even, I think even once. The first review we didn't drop the word like or at all. I didn't like notice it. I didn't cut any of them out. And on the Finch one, all three of us dropped and like every other sentence. And I had to cut like if one of us was talking, so say like I was talking and I did like a 2-minute spiel on something and I said or 9 times, I cut 7 of them out because it's become super noticeable. But you do 1 or 2, whatever, right? But it's
messes with the flow of the conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Then once you're cognizant of it and you're actually paying attention to doing it, it's hard to notice it for yourself when you're the one speaking, but it's really, you start paying attention to it, it's really easy to notice when other people do it. I had to do training one time for like giving presentations, like PowerPoint presentations to like large groups. And so for my work, my boss and like a bunch of my counterparts went into this room, like it was a like conference style like training room basically, right? And we had to stand in front of the room and do the presentation, and everybody in the room was just writing down. Okay, you're writing down whenever he says you're writing down whenever he says like, you're writing down whenever he says and they would all, so as I'm giving the presentation, they're just writing down all the fuck ups. And then at the end of it, here's how many times you did it. And we all just keep doing it for like 8 hours until none of us were doing it anymore with that specific material. But that was, 15 years ago for me, and I've lost that training and ability. And it was also on specific material that I was doing over and over again. Whereas
let's do that. I'm going to have a counter.
Oh, it's so... No, I'm going to be editing the majority of them out for sure. I mean, something like this where it's us just talking, it's not a big deal. But when it's like...
I don't think you should edit this one out.
I'm not going to edit anything out of the podcast at all, but when it's like the review that's only 50 minutes long and we say like a total of like 27, once you notice it, it's really, really jarring and distracting. And if you put a counter on it, it'll become jarring, distracting for everybody who watches, right? When I was editing it, I noticed it and then I couldn't unnotice it, and it was driving me crazy.
So the minute you say that, my mind runs to displaying it more, like in the video format on like YouTube. So just expanding on it, so running and making it into a joke. So then taking the seriousness out of it, and then obviously in my mind takes anybody judging us not being professional, takes that away, because then it's a bit of a comical portion that'll be there. I don't know. That's my mind immediately to that.
Go ahead.
There's a YouTuber called Brad Leone. Have you guys heard of him?
Brad Leone?
Yeah, he was on Bon Appetit Test Kitchen, and he's got his own series. And his editor, Matt Hunziker, is incredible. And he's like from New Jersey, and he says things like "water." And every time he says that, there'll be like a counter, and like it'll pop up in fun little ways. So for me, that's like the gold standard of YouTube editing. That's what I want to see. It's so entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think for sure, like a mispronunciation of a word or something is good. It's just when 3 of the 4 of us are saying every second sentence for 30 minutes, it becomes like, it's just, you're not listening to anything that people are saying other than if you have a word that you mispronounce and you do it like twice in a video, that's one thing. But if it's like we said the word collectively 47 times, it's like, okay, maybe we could point it out one time, but then it's going to get edited out every time after that.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if it
just depends if it's distracting. If it's like like when we said it was one thing when we said shocker instead of electro.
You just said
on the I wrote it down.
Right. So that was like a mispronunciation of a thing, but we're not going to be talking about electro on other videos until we do another Spider-Man video, right? Mm-hmm. So to point that out is funny, because also if you don't point it out, people are going to notice it because it's a mispronunciation of a character, and then it's going to be jarring. So, but just is not like part of the actual like point of a video. Although this little segment here, while we're discussing putting a counter in for unintentional uhs, not the ones I'm saying when I'm saying it on purpose, would be funny.
So there should be now a sarcastic counter. So there'll be a natural counter and a sarcastic one. Tiffany, you got that?
There's a time and a time and a place, right?
A sarcastic so he's making fun of it now, and then a natural an organic Oh,
I thought you were gonna say something else there. A different kind of.
That's a laugh. That was a laugh. That's not a whole bunch of uhs in a row. Sorry.
One of the things I'm trying to figure out too, for like I'd like to get your takes on it, is like filming yourself solo. Like this is one thing when the three of us are chatting and we have our webcams going and we're recording our footage, but then like setting up like, you know, a camera with a tripod and just facing the camera and speaking to the camera to record anything, either a video that you want to do by yourself, or you want to have like you talking to the audience, you don't want to be sitting at a computer desk, or you want to do like an intro or whatever. It's so hard to think about. Like in theory, it's like, oh, it's just set up a camera on a tripod and record. But doing it seems so awkward and strange to me.
It was like a confession.
Well, it's like, how do you, if to do it, I think it's really important to not try to act like something you're not. Like, you know, some people on YouTube are like very excited and exuberant and overly dramatic about everything.
All the time.
Like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you do that and that's not your personality, to me, it's very disingenuous and comes across as fake. Like there are YouTubers that you watch or people that are on film that you watch that are very calm and can just talk and reserved and still can be engaging, because they just seem natural. Like they're talking to like their friends or their family. They're talking to like they're talking to a person.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, he's not overly excited, but he has a beautiful, beautiful voice.
I just want to put in there how hard I tried not to pop my eyebrow up when you said Morgan Freeman. Because I had about a million things going in my head. I was like, so if it looked like I was
suppress it.
If it looked like I was sort of
how do you cock one eye?
It was literally me forcing this bugger down.
I can squint an eyebrow. I can't cock one eyebrow. How do you do that? I can't do it.
Tiffany can do it.
Can you do it?
Yeah. He has those straight eyebrows. You're doing it, kind of. You just look insane. That's all.
I feel insane. It's because I can't bring one up without bringing the other one down.
You did look like. Do I kill you or all of you or just a little bit of you?
Jim, just look directly into the camera and do it.
Oh
yeah, I don't even know what muscles in my face to use. Okay, hold
on.
That's
gonna be the thumbnail.
Am I doing it?
You look like a pirate. Arr. No, go.
It honestly looks like you're from a different tribe trying to assimilate yourself into the human population. You're like,
I must act human facial expression. My 6-year-old, when he winks, he does like a total like Popeye pirate thing where he says, "I'm going to give you, hey Dad, here's a little wink for you." And he like closes one eye, opens the other, but he does this bite with his jaw where he like does like a big, opens his mouth, shifts his jaw and bites down like Popeye. And it's like, he doesn't know how to wink otherwise. He can't close one eye without doing that motion. So the first time he did it, it was like, "Hey Dad, here's a little wink for you." And he does that. I was like, "What the hell is that? Do it again." And he just keeps doing it again. And then we laughed at it. So of course we thought it was funny. So then he's now trained
in him.
Yeah. So he does it all the time. We got family photos last weekend. He did it. He does it to his teacher at school every day when he says goodbye to her. Gives her a little wink and gives his crazy Popeye face.
Oh my God. He's going to try to do that on a girl when he gets older, and they're going to be like, "Are you having a stroke?" Like,
it's a little wink for you.
Here's a little wink for you.
It's already a little player.
Oh, he's way too much personality. It's ridiculous. I was just saying it just seems awkward to like figure out how to approach it. Like I want to do it for something, but to figure out what to do it for and like how to do it naturally is difficult. I can't think of a proper time to do it.
Rob, what are you looking at? You're freaking me
My-
out.
Sophia's coming in here.
Hello.
This is
So yeah, what are you guys watching on TV right now that we're not going to be reviewing? Anything
I'm just
good?
telling Rob that I'm watching all the Spider-Man movies. So I finished Spider-Man 1 to 3 with Tobey Maguire, and then I finished The Amazing Spider-Man today.
The first one?
The first one. Because I have zero memory of most of these movies because I'd only seen them once when they first came out. So I was like, I better rewatch because the trailer probably would have been a lot easier for me to follow as well for the new Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Are you finding they hold up as well as you thought they would have, or no?
Like Tobey Maguire's, no, even though it's kind of the better franchise. But surprisingly, The Amazing Spider-Man, I actually think it like still looks pretty good. Like the CGI isn't bad at all.
Nice.
But I don't know what year that was. What was it, like 2016, or was it earlier than that?
It was later. I mean, I lived out here.
Later?
I watched that at the Abbotsford VIP theater.
Oh, okay. Somebody looking it up.
Like 5, I don't know. Oh, that was Spider-Man 2 with Jamie Foxx. That was like 5 years ago? 6 years ago? No, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna
that
watch
can't
that
be
one
true.
tomorrow, hopefully. Well, time has no meaning anymore, and like
Sure.
it was 2012 for the
Damn it.
Amazing Spider-Man. Sorry.
when you said time has no meaning, I was like,
Like the last 2 years are nothing to me, and when I have to think back about something, I'm like, oh, that was like a year ago, but I'm actually talking about like 2018 or 2019. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
And I was also on my Facebook today and my memories, and it said 2018 is a garbage year. I can't wait for it to be over. And I was like, what an absolute moron.
how
Little
naive.
did I know what was coming.
Yeah, 2018 was actually a fantastic year. Better
I don't
times.
even know what happened in 2018 to make me say that.
Exactly. Like when you look back on 2020 and you're saying that, you'll be like, I know why I said that.
Yeah.
When you look back at 2018, you're like, what happened in 2018?
Be interesting
idea.
to see.
Yeah.
Back to what Jim was saying, like how to talk on your own. When you started doing the podcast with you and Teal, you guys did that together, right?
Yeah.
But
These
you
are
guys
so
just
good.
set up. You guys just set up a mic and everything, and just in front of you, and you just was like, okay, we're gonna.
Yeah. It was awkward at first, but also you're not being filmed. This is really challenging, I feel like.
True. Yeah, I mean, in my experience in Twitch, you kind of expose yourself to all sorts of comments.
Yeah.
My comments have ranged from he looks tired all the time, which I don't. This is just the way I look. Or again to the bump on my forehead, or all sorts
I've never
of
even noticed the bump on your forehead until I think today because your lighting's a little bit changed.
And then comments like people are like, throw your penis out, do this stuff on stream. But a lot of people ask me to do that stuff, and then it doesn't bother me. I'll just joke and laugh with it.
Throw your
But
penis out?
Like,
Throw it out.
yeah, throw your hog down on the table is one phrasing. It's like that's, you kind of get exposed to that kind of stuff when you do it live, and it's an interesting position because it's you're supposed to be doing this for fun, or more along the lines of like it's awkward, or are you judging yourself? Are you being hypercritical of how you sound, or you're going to interact? And especially if it's just yourself, that's even another layer to it. Like, what am I supposed to sound like? Opposed to, like you said, Jim, putting on an act, and then you're being disingenuous, or you feel that maybe if you're just winging and being natural, that it's not as professional. And I think it's all open to interpretation. Like, I think you are as professional as you want to be. If this is what you want to do and talk about, then that's what you put out there. And whether people pick it up and like it, then that's up to them. I don't necessarily think there's a real serious bar you got to hit every time.
Well, I think live streaming gets you over that like fear of like, because that same way, like I live streamed for like 6 months. At the very beginning, you have all the same like nervousness and anxiety that you may be feeling right now, Tiffany, just doing this for the first time on film, where you're thinking about it. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter. And like to their point, there was a long time while streaming where I would like watch other streams and like look at streams. And I didn't really care about becoming big. I was just doing it because I was already playing games with friends and just wanted to stream it and chat with other people, even if the people watching were just my actual like people that I'm friends with, just to like we couldn't go out. You were stuck in home because of the pandemic. So I'm streaming. And if people that aren't playing a game with me want to come on and chat with me while I'm playing and say hi, people I haven't talked to in 6 months or a year or seen in person, that was kind of my ultimate goal. And so for me to act like overly excited or act like not like myself for that seemed like really weird, especially if people that are watching are people I know that know who and how I am anyways. So I just made the decision, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do and act how I want to act and play how I want to play. And I don't really give a shit what the proper way to do it is. And I'm kind of want to treat this the same way, like how I'm going to talk when we're recording. Like there might be things I prepare, like if it's like a review and I want to prepare like an intro or something like that, like it'll be things I write down and think about what I'm going to say, but I still want to try to have it in my own voice and like have it be how I would talk. But there was a good long time where I would, if I was like to think, I've been thinking about doing YouTube videos forever. And I've always thought, oh, I just don't know how I'd like come across, like how I would present it to make it sound good. But it's like, no, I don't care. Just be yourself. And if people want to watch you be yourself, great. If people don't, great. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's always interesting watching somebody you know put themselves out there. Like I've got friends who do like different kinds of social media posts, like Instagram stories, or just like people who like put themselves out there and are talking, and seeing somebody you know, if they're being themselves, you're like, oh, that's just my friend so-and-so being themselves. But if you were to tune into somebody you know and they're being like totally like a different person, you'd be like, that's weird. That's not how that person is. Like it'd be super weird. I've got a friend who has a YouTube channel with like 100,000 subscribers, and more of an acquaintance, I guess, than a friend. But I used to deal with him through work a lot, and he's got a great channel that's all on like on auto mechanics and cars and like car audio. And the way he is on his channel is exactly how he is in person. And if I was to watch his channel and have it be like a different person, it'd be so strange. So strange. And he's being very successful on YouTube. So I think it would get exhausting too, acting like not yourself. And if you did this for like a long time, after how many years of you doing it when you're being like a different persona versus just like, this is just us talking like friends. I could do this. We do this multiple times a week anyways.
I've had good streams and bad streams where I've literally been like, this is just me out here, and I have less energy. And I'm like, if I have less energy, I'm like, and I'm even cranky, or I'm pissed off at something that has nothing to do with streaming or anything like that. And then I jump on, and then the next thing you know, I'm like, fucking just not feeling it. And somebody says something, like, you know what? It's probably a good time I'm going to go. And somebody's like, why? I'm like, I'm not having a great time. It has nothing to do with you guys. And they're like, oh, okay. Or then they'll start making comments. I'm like, that's a good way to get yourself banned. They're like, you're going to ban me? I'm like, I do this as a hobby. It's my life doesn't depend on it.
Streaming, you definitely have to have a bit of, you still got to be yourself, but you still have to have some energy because you're engaging with your viewers. And so if you jump on and just ignore everybody, you don't want to do that, streams,
right? Yeah. Like there's a couple of Twitch streamers, which I won't say, who are trying to partner, but when they have a just chatting portion, so they're just chilling out and they're just like this, they're talking like this. But then when they're streaming, all of a sudden they're this very big bravado and different energy, and it's kind of it's disjointed, because if it throws it out there. It's like, so you can just break it down and do something, which is fine, and everybody has a lower energy moment or a chat or what have you. But then when the two, so just chatting, and then the other persona is like way up here, that's when it finds like, okay, you can't run like that forever.
Don't you feel like those like over the top personas are kind of marketed towards a younger audience?
For sure.
100%. 100%. But then how long does that run in your mental capacity, like your own mental health? So you're now running, you're putting on this act every day or every 2 days or whatever you're doing. And if you're doing it for a career every single day, and then you have all that editing and video marketing and thumbnails, social aspects, and then you really are, like, if you're saying, Tiffany, like, would you be so dependent on the likes and the bits and the subscriptions? And I've seen Twitch people and some YouTube people, when they don't subscribe, like, people show up at their channel, they're just talking, and they don't, and then I watch that content creator get pissed. And like, this is the cheapest thing you could do, all the content I've given you, and then they start lambasting the chat for not giving to them. So it's like they put this persona out there, and they think now that they're owed financial payment from the chat, which I think is really mentally tiring.
Yeah, well, that's a good time to cut in and say that anybody that's listening to this so far, if you're on the podcast, we have a YouTube channel called Video Club Reviews. It would be great if you could pop by and give us a subscribe.
Oh, you better fucking subscribe.
We're not out. Or yeah, you better, or else leave now. If you're not going to subscribe, don't even waste your time. We don't want you here. No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck you.
We don't want any money from you. We just want your clicks.
That Tiffany needs to keep up her White Claw habit. Mama needs
Half
her White Claws.
Half a White Claw and you get angry. It's weird. I was asking Tiffany what she was watching. She's rewatching all the Spider-Man. Rob, what about you? What are you watching that's not review bait?
I actually have started rewatching a couple of anime series because my stepdaughter is actually very much into some of those right now. So one Jujutsu Kaisen and Fire Force, and she's a big fan of Demon Slayer. Loves the art. It's all these shows are fantastic looking for artwork. They're insane, and she's quite artistically she watched one episode of Fire Force and these things called Infernals, and she took a still image she found online and she put up on her phone and then started sketching it right beside it and then duplicated it just like that. It's insane. Wow. She has so much talent from her dad and her mom. Like she's fantastic. So those are a lot of fun. And we just watched the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye today.
Oh yeah, that came out today.
Oh yeah,
I'll watch that tomorrow.
It came out the other day.
It is fantastic. And Ashlyn and Sophia are currently watching WandaVision, and Sophia is loving WandaVision right now.
Yeah, WandaVision was great. All the Marvel shows, TV shows, and Disney Plus have been really freaking good, man. It's crazy.
I didn't see Winter Soldier and Falcon yet.
Probably I would say my least favorite of the bunch, but it's a very different feel to it than everything else. But it was still pretty. It was still pretty neat.
A damn eyebrow popped up.
I'm going to definitely start watching Hawkeye tomorrow, though, with my kids. We noticed it tonight, like right before their bedtime, right before I was going to come down here and record, that it was on.
That's good.
So I'm excited about that.
It's good to watch with the kids.
Yeah. I am watching right now. I just started The Wheel of Time last night. I watched the first episode.
We watched a couple of that as well.
So here's what I'll tell you about Wheel of Time. I got a little backstory. My wife believes the Wheel of Time books is what killed my love for reading paper book, like books, like physical books. She believes that book is what killed when she met me, or when we used to be married. I used to read a lot. Like I read a lot of books every night. I would read.
Married now?
When we were first married, like in the first, I don't remember how long ago this was. If it was 5-10 years ago or before we were married, but I would read all the time. And I was reading this book series called The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, because everybody said it was like one of the like it's one of the most critically acclaimed fantasy series out there. Like it's like Lord of the Rings level. Like people love it like they love Lord of the Rings and Frank Herbert's Dune. This is before Game of Thrones really was a thing. And the author wrote, I think it was 8 books and then died. And then Brandon Sanderson finished it off. Either the 9th book or the 10th book, whatever the last book was, but there was so many loose ends to tie up. He ended up having to do 2 or 3 books. But Brandon Sanderson's really, really good author. I actually really like his writing. Robert Jordan, I tried my hardest. I got to book, I think it was 6 or 7, hating the entire slog through each like 1,000-page novel. Like books where just nothing happens, and the author is so descriptive that he'll spend like 10 pages describing someone's dress. Like just painfully descriptive, which usually makes great material for transitioning it to film or TV, because like Lord of the Rings and Dune and Harry Potter, they're all very descriptive, but this was that on steroids. To the point where it was just nothing happened. You'd read all this, you'd read for hours and hours and nothing would happen. I'd finished like 3 whole books and there'd be no action. Nothing would happen. It was just like the hint of like action to come that never actually comes. And finally, I think I was halfway through book 6 or 7, like halfway through, and I was just reading beside my wife, and I slammed it shut, and I was like, that's it. That's enough. I'm done. And I threw the series down. And I'm like, I'm done with that. I'm not going back to it. Because I kept pushing through thinking, well, it's going to pay off. I've read so many of these books now. I spent so much time. I can't stop now. And then I stopped. So now it's a TV show, and I'm starting it. So it's either going to be the same thing or it's going to be a massive disappointment, but I'm hoping the descriptiveness just pays off to like a really good show that like looks really well and is better.
I'll be back in 1 second. I have to say goodnight to that kiddo.
All right, we'll keep talking.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm watching Wheel of Time, and
but what did you think of like the first episode then? Like, did it
very good?
Reach really, expectations?
Really good. No, it was very. I mean, I don't have any expectations because I hated the books. More action happened in that first episode than in 6 books. So far, so good. The main character, Rosamund Pike.
Rosamund Pike, yeah.
She is so creepy.
I love her.
She's great. I mean, she's played creepiness up in certain roles, right? Like in Gone, I think it was Gone Girl.
Gone Girl, yeah.
But like in this, she's got black hair or like dark hair instead
Crazy
of her normal
eyes.
blonde hair, and her crazy eyes, and she just kind of plays at this crazy witch lady, and yeah, she's like off-putting. She just like every time she's on screen, you just feel weird, and it's almost jarring, or it almost takes me out of the show. So it's almost
really?
it's almost but I might get over it. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm watching that because that just started this last week.
Yeah.
Or like on last Friday. Then I watched there's another show. Oh, we're watching Yellowstone, of course, the final season of Yellowstone, which is so good and so makes my my heart hurt every episode because it's so intense. It's one of those shows that's just so tense that like the whole show you're on the edge of your seat waiting for like something bad to happen to everybody, basically, right? It's basically Sons of Anarchy on a ranch.
Right. And then after it ends, you're like, why am I so like sore? Why do I hurt? Because you're just like tense the whole time.
And then of course I'm watching Cowboy Bebop for our upcoming review.
Right, I still have to start that.
And I don't want to give much of it away, but it's growing on me. It's growing on me.
Should I watch it blind, or should I like read about the series and the story first?
I would say watch it blind, because Rob is like, he's watched all of the cartoons and the cartoon movie, like all the animation. He knows all about it, and then Teal's going through it all the animation right now. So I watched the movie. I watched either the TV show or the movie like 15 years ago, and I can't remember which, and I can't remember anything about it. I just said watch. Right. I can't remember which.
I heard.
I can't remember which one is what I meant to say. So I am watching it basically blind as well.
Is it like coming back to you though as you watch?
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, they just found their dog, which is a corgi, and like there's a corgi in the anime, and I was like, oh, there's their corgi. But like other than that, I don't remember any names of any characters or anything.
Cowboy and Bebop.
Nope.
Nope.
Bebop's the name of their ship, and the cowboys are what they call bounty hunters.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about this, are we?
Just talking. I just said how I was watching it. She hasn't watched it yet, but we're not talking about the actual show at all.
I finished it.
I watched 3 or 4 more episodes last night, Rob, and I'm revising our discussion we had on it. I'm revising a little bit. It's growing on me as I get more into it. There was something else I was watching, and I cannot remember what it was. Oh, Arcane on Netflix. I haven't started any of that. It is very, very good. I don't know anything about League of Legends. I don't play League of Legends. I've never played League of Legends. I played that spin-off game Teamfight Tactics for a bit, but it's very loose. It's so good. It's like a really good show. It's not for kids. I mean, like older kids, sure, but like it's got swearing in it and violence in it and death. But the animation is crazy, crazy good. Like it's all CGI, but then it's like it looks like it's painted with paintbrushes.
Yeah, so I do know a little bit. They literally, I think they did. You get another one?
If you guys want to keep talking, I can get another one.
Well, I've got a lot of this to go through, so that'll take me some while. So
how you doing, Tiff?
Yeah, I still have like halfway to go.
Okay, keep talking. I can hear you. I'll be right back.
I think they did full 3D CGI, and then they painted it like a 2D cell to kind of give it that matte.
Oh, I love that look.
So it's very artistic. It's nice looking. So but then there's also shows like when you see something like that or an anime when they have that more detail. Like what was an episode? It's an example. I think Demon Slayer for that style. Like if you guys are familiar with that anime, you look at a standard anime. I think
I've watched Demon Slayer. It's good.
Okay, so I think the budget for each episode of that series was, you know what? I'm gonna look it up. It's astronomical. But so like I was saying before, they did 3D CGI and then they painted it like a 2D cell kind of artwork. And you can tell when they spend the money for the artistic and the aesthetic of the show that adds its own character, to add so much more to it.
Not only is the CGI or like the animation good, but the story is really good. It's just it's a very good show, and it's releasing in 3 episodes.
Oh yeah,
every week they put out 3 episodes. So I think they've got 9 out now, and the final 3 are this coming weekend on Saturday. So there's 12 total episodes, and I've been watching it with Liam, my older boy, and there's some earmuff moments in it, but he likes it. It's really good. He was asking me tonight if we could watch it another time. We rewatched Spider-Verse tonight.
Nice.
Into the Spider-Verse, which is so good, man. Oh, Every
It's
time I
so
watch
good.
that movie, I've watched it like 4 or 5 times. Every time I watch it, I'm just multiple times during it, I just stop and think, man, this is so good.
Yeah, it's incredible. Are you guys planning on watching the new season of Dexter?
Yes.
Season 9?
No.
I was a big Dexter fan.
Same.
But I can't start anything else yet.
I think average cost for an episode like anime is anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000 per episode.
Wow.
And what's Demon Slayer? Oh, that's the cost for Demon Slayer.
I think so. I think it was 80,000 per episode or something like that. Rule of thumb is generally that, but the animes are usually way less on average. And Demon Slayer was up there.
Oh, okay.
I am not a Dexter fan, so I am out on that conversation.
As in, you didn't watch the original?
I am. Jim knows a lot about this. Tiffy, you probably heard me say this a bunch too. I'm very fickle when it comes to shows, being brutally honest. If I don't get engrossed in the show in the first 2 or 3 episodes, I'm probably never going to pick it back up again. And I will say Game of Thrones, fantastic all the way through, because the writing and the characters, how they interacted was fantastic for the most part. And I've talked about this at length. True Detective, the first season, is my opinion, is the best season of any TV show, period. Just the way it was done, everything. That's in my wheelhouse, though. That's my kind of wheelhouse. So Dexter, something about Dexter, I just didn't get on board with. Like Sons of Anarchy, The Sopranos, tried all those. Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad's an amazing show. Tried a bunch of it, and it's like, no.
Breaking Bad's so good. But I couldn't get into Better Call Saul, right, which a lot of people loved after Breaking Bad. I watched the first season of it, and I just didn't start the second. And I liked it. It just didn't. When the second season came out, I had no urge to just like start it, which happens sometimes, right? You can watch a season or something and be like, "Oh, this is really good," but then the second season comes out, and you're just like, "I'm good."
Yeah.
I don't know why that happens. Just because there's so much. There's just so much to watch now.
Yeah, we're saturated.
On Apple TV, we're watching Ted Lasso, and we're actually done Ted Lasso now. But there's another season coming. But that show, if you want to watch a comedy, that show is so good. Like it's like a part comedy, like ridiculous, almost to the tune of The Office, but not as ridiculous as that. Like they're more realistic characters, more human than The Office, but it's the same level of like humor. And then there's also drama to it and emotion. Like there's episodes that'll like make you tear up and stuff. It's crazy. Such a good show.
Yeah,
And
I still
then-
think season 1 was way better, but it's been such a good show,
of Ted
especially
Lasso?
like, yeah, especially right now. Like the first season's just like, it's just so nice.
Mhm.
And it just makes you feel good, which is so rare lately.
I love Ted Lasso as a character.
Yeah.
And Coach
Oh,
Beard.
he's the best.
Coach
Yeah.
Beard. Coach Beard is. I want everybody needs a Coach Beard in their life. Little sidekick who's just is always there for you. Season 2 had some things that pissed me off. Yeah, like with Nate and stuff. But I also understood why they did it. And if you look back how they did it over the course of the season, slowly revealing him, it actually was really well done. And then the other thing on Apple TV I'm watching is we watched the first season is The Morning Show.
You like it though?
Yeah, it was great. The first season was great. So good. The crazy thing is that show was all filmed and done before the Matt Lauer stuff came out.
Oh, is that what it's about?
No. But it is. That's the point. It's literally like a carbon copy of like what happened with Matt Lauer.
Oh, is Steve Carell play a creep?
He's Matt Lauer, basically.
Oh, I
gets
don't know
fired.
anything about it. I just know who's in it. So I was like,
I mean, the
should
very
check
first
it out.
episode, before it even starts, he's the host of like a super, like a Good Morning America equivalent morning show. That's like the #1 morning show in the US. And he gets fired because of sexual misconduct with staff members and employees or whatever, right? And so it's him. The story's not really about him, though. He's in it, and it kind of keeps bouncing back to what he's doing and stuff. But the story's more about what's happening at this show, the morning show, with Jennifer Aniston's left behind as the Katie Couric to like pick up the pieces of like him doing that. And she was a co-host with him for like 15 years and quote unquote didn't know about it. And then what's her face comes in.
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon comes in as like the new sidekick or the new partner to replace Matt Lauer or whatever, Steve Carell.
Right.
But yeah, so that show was like filmed before, and then it was delayed being released, and it was like fully filmed the first season like before Matt Lauer got fired from the morning, like a month before. But it's like literally he even looks like him. So there's like obviously a lot of thought that it's
probably like an open secret too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Weinstein stuff, right? Everybody knows, but nobody knows.
What about, did either of you ever check out Space Force?
No, I did not.
Well, that was like the biggest disappointment of the year for me.
Yeah, it's a pretty shaky premise.
Yeah, but the cast and Greg Daniels is so amazing, and then it was just bad.
I just did trying to have a quick note, but a lot of people are saying that each episode of Arcane is somewhere between $7 and $10 million to make. That
well, the
blows my
company
mind.
that made it,
Riot
Games, has money
to spare.
that you
There's
can't believe.
basically
Right?
a whole Reddit thing on like Riot's burning money for Arcane.
Yeah, I mean, they have those like League of Legends World tournaments every year that are like in stadiums around the world, right? And they spend so much money on that. And they've been doing it forever. That game's been out for a long time. But it's one of the rare shows where like it's based on a video game and like it has a super hardcore fan base and they all like it. Or mostly like it. Like it's getting rave reviews from people who are like fans of the game and also people who don't know the game. So it's like actually a good story, but it also makes like the fans happy with the amount of fan service they get. So it's pretty cool.
Things I want to see. I want to see Dope Sick. That's that whole.
Wait, that sounds familiar.
That's a whole video movie on basically Oxycontin. So Oxycontin. So that company, what's it called now?
Purdue Pharma.
Purdue Farm lost the lawsuit, the class action lawsuit. So they paid something like, actually, it's like $200 and something billion in payment and suffering to families for people addicted to it, which is so disgusting still because they signed off, they paid, and then because they essentially admitted to doing it, they can no longer be charged on any further pain and suffering caused by these drugs out there, these opioids. So it was like a one-time deal. They're like, yeah, cool. It won't bankrupt the company. It bankrupt one small company under the umbrella of this pharmaceutical company, and they can never ever be charged on the whole for any more incidences of addiction, death, crime, all the stuff due to opioids.
As long as they don't go back and like falsify something else. But
exactly.
Yeah, like the stuff that's already out there is out
crazy.
there.
It's really crazy that they lost.
What are you being? They're being tried on the fact they lied about everything, right?
Yes.
About that they lied about the addictiveness. But once you're convicted of that, now it's out there. Everybody knows it's addictive. They're no longer pushing the narrative that it's not addictive. So there's nothing for them to really be held accountable to anymore. They still make it. Now they have to be accountable to.
Yeah, the term's not. It's not double jeopardy. It's only for murder. Yeah. Like you can't be charged the same crime. You can't be charged twice for the same crime, essentially.
But if you commit a second crime of the same type, you can, right?
Yes. I mean, so it's an interesting thing. So, and Michael Keaton's in it, and Michael Keaton's a fantastic actor, almost everything he does. So, and there's
Beetlejuice.
I mean, he was in Spotlight, and Spotlight's a fucking fantastic. Well, the context of the movie is not fantastic, but I mean, what was it? And the other one where I think it's a documentary on the guy, that young philanthropist or whatever you want to call him, who bought the rights to that cancer treatment when it was $17 for this pill, and then
Martin Shkreli.
Oh, Pharma Bro.
Yeah,
and then made them $750 a pill. And he's like, "I've broken no laws," and he's just this smug like.
He also bought the unreleased Wu-Tang Clan CD.
He's the definition of like a punchable face.
This rum is burning its way down to my stomach currently.
Perfect.
Right now. Fun fact. I also bought Hawkins cheesies.
Stranger
Things. They are fantastic. Yeah,
they're the best cheesies.
Yeah, they are not the best if you eat the entire bag. Let me tell you that much.
Everything's
any
better
cheesies
in moderation.
You can't eat.
Yeah, anything's better in moderation.
Cheeses are not meant to be eaten all at once.
I tried to go back to my childhood, and at 1:10 in the morning, my childhood was kicking my ass. So that was not worth it. Not even close.
That's funny. So I've got a date night coming up this weekend.
Does Amber know?
It's I was supposed to plan it, but then it's really hard to. Man, it's so hard to plan things. So I've got 2 kids. I've got 2 dogs. My kids are going to their grandparents for the night. My dogs, one of them, he's like a cat. You could leave him alone. He'd be fine. The other one has to be with people constantly. He's also too big to be taken to somebody to like look after. Excuse me. So like we can't leave him at home for more than a few hours. So at first we were going to like get a hotel in Vancouver and like spend the night there and bring Chance with us. And it's like, but then like everywhere we go throughout the day, it's got to be dog friendly. And then when we go for dinner, we have to like put him in the hotel in a crate and hope he doesn't howl. or like whimper super loud and get us in trouble that way. And then it's like, so then we like have to go out for dinner and then rush back to the hotel. So I'm just like, it's not going to be enjoyable to do that, obviously. And we want to do Christmas shopping, which we can't do with the dog. So we scratch that. We're no longer staying downtown. The dog's going to stay home. We're going to take the kids, drop them off, and then go do a little bit of Christmas shopping, have some dinner, and then come home.
And one of your parents stay at your house?
I mean, I guess they could, but that's who's looking after the kids. Their kids are going to their house. They would get another parent to stay at our house?
I don't know. Like, I mean, like, just for an example, Dad, Jordy, is like, yeah, can you watch the kids and crash at the house? You know, the kitchen's yours, the whole 9 yards. And then your boys get to stay and play with Grandpa. And you hang out here. The dogs are taken care of because you're at the house. You're like, yes, Dad, what do you want?
We
you
could
want beer
do that.
and pizza? That might be the solution to everything. So then you still can go downtown. You can still get the hotel room. And you're like, God damn it! Now you've ruined
I feel like I would abuse that privilege for like a bigger, like we're talking about trying to go somewhere next year for like 3 or 4 nights.
That's like, a year from now, dude. They're not going to remember.
No, not a year from now. I'm saying like in the spring, like sometime in 2022. We want to go on a trip somewhere, just the two of us with no kids, because we haven't done that.
That's like 4 months from now. Your dad won't remember.
Okay. Anyways, that would be the kind of thing where I'd say, okay, can we come stay at our house? And like, because it might be while the kids are in school even, right? So like stay at our house and take on all of our responsibilities. We love you.
Maybe.
Thank you.
I mean, once in a while, like,
it's a big ask, right?
It depends. Like,
it's a big ask to get somebody to look after your kids and take the school who's not used to doing that.
No. My mind, I was like for the one night. Yeah, for the 3-4 days. Yeah, it's a big ask. Yeah. Tiffany, why don't you just crash at their place and you can look after the boys and the dogs?
I'm child free for a reason, so.
I mean, but you're not working right now, so it's totally.
And also,
you're free and available.
Your nephews for a couple of nights is not being child free.
Well, let's start walking before you start sprinting. Ask her for just one night, not for 3 nights right off.
Her and Dan could totally house sit our house for a couple. So what are you gonna do with your free time?
That's true.
I don't know.
A month off.
Yeah, a part of me feels like I shouldn't squander it. But also I don't want to do anything.
My eyebrow popped up for that. I was like, sleep in. Like,
set yourself a hard date for relaxing. Yeah, set yourself like however many days you want to just not do anything.
No, because the problem is, like, the older I get, I can't sleep in. I get like a massive migraine if I sleep past like 8:30. It's bullshit. I can't stay up late because I get so tired, and if I don't do anything, I don't know. I just feel so shitty. I have to do something.
So how many days are you gonna do? Are you gonna do nothing, regardless of what you just said?
So many days.
3 days or 14 days or what?
Let's be honest. You are pontificating right now. You're still gonna be like sweats in a hoodie for like 4 days straight.
Oh yeah, that's a given.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's 4 days. That's just like a long weekend. That's not enough. Monday, Tuesday. I say by Wednesday, you say, okay, I'm going to do something on Wednesday. But give yourself a good Thursday to Wednesday. A good 6 days, 5 days. That's a nice vacation.
I think it's the same thing as you fantasize about not doing anything. Like, no responsibility. I'm going to get up when I want to get up. I'll wash and clean, do whatever. Maybe I will do some house chores. Maybe I'll jump on the computer. You think you're going to do that? And like, after, like you're saying, after day 6, I think because we've all worked full time. I've worked full time and been on call since I was 21 years old. So I've never not had extra responsibility after work or on a weekend. And I can't say that I wouldn't feel like an absolute dirty slug if I had like a day 6 and I'm still in sweatpants and a hoodie. I would think that I am dying. I'd have to go find some work to do.
The problem is, if you do nothing for too long, it makes the time go by that much faster. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You'll rip through your time off, right? I mean, I'm not above getting some adult diapers and like literally not even having the energy to get up and use the bathroom. I could be persuaded to do that for a couple days. Literally just lay.
You could not persuade me.
Have someone to flip me over so I don't get bed sores.
Ew.
Sounds like
I'll wash myself with a rag on a stick.
Sounds like the life for like 3 or 4 days, I think.
Well, keep in mind, like during the pandemic, I had how many months off where I didn't do anything? You guys were probably working through all that, right?
I had 3 months where my foot was elevated and I was stuck on a couch straight from my destroyed leg.
Oh.
That was the most inactive I have ever been in my entire life.
What happened?
I blew up my Achilles tendon on my right leg.
Oh shit!
May 15th. running, doing nothing exciting. No crazy story, an adventure, or I saved a cat or anything. I was just fucking running and my leg blew up and I hit the ground like a ton of bricks. The doctor had the bedside manner of a fucking asshole. So then I just was running and I said, I just thought it'd be a good idea to come here instead of go to the clinic. And he's like, why would you think that? I'm like, because I talked to the lady at the clinic and they said they could do nothing for my destroyed leg and I'd have to come here. He's like, guess you could have done that. I'm like, okay. He's like, anyways, on the bed. Kneel on the end of the bed and he grabbed it. And he's like, he touched my leg. He's like, whoa, yep, you're fucked. And I'm like, my mind is just like, I'm losing work. I'm screwed. And then he was like, come over and he brought over his other doctor. He's like, oh, check this out. Yeah, wow, check that out. Hey, wow, that's crazy. And he's like, and I'm like,
Page Brad.
I'm literally panicking. Like, so what's going on? He's like, you won't be doing much for a while. Then no follow-up. I'm like, my leg's destroyed. Am I done? Like, period. Like, I have. He's just nothing.
Gotta take him to pasture. Put a bullet in him. He's done.
Oh my god. Like, I literally called Ashlyn, kind of in a bit of a panic attack. She's like, you gotta calm down. You'll be fine. I'm like, and then later told him. She's like, what a fuck. And then later found out, yeah, it was 3 months on that couch, and I had a laptop, and I was able to work from home. But 3 months of getting up and going to the couch and then going to bed. Like, I was like 3.5 weeks before I was outside because my leg was so screwed. And I could definitely tell you, like you're saying, like the monotony of not doing anything, all of a sudden, like I can't tell you the last 6 months anything definitively cool happening except for my birthday. It's all just one blur of the couch. It sucked.
Last year, I had to take like 10 days off work because I came into contact with somebody that had COVID. Mm-hmm. And then immediately after that, I sprained both of my ankles and I couldn't work for a couple of weeks.
How did you sprain both of them?
It's a great story.
Pogo stick.
I slipped in cat puke.
That's way better than a pogo stick.
I want to know. My mind can't still rationalize the logistics of you in both your feet. Did you
landed
go like this?
Super fucking weirdly. Like they both went in opposite directions. And I just like collapsed like a bag of bricks and I couldn't move. And then, yeah.
Oh, no.
So did you yell for Dan? Like, my legs!
He was right there. He saw it happen. He was in the washroom and I was just like walking past and then my feet went out from under me. And we were both like, what the fuck just happened? And then there's like a huge pile of cat puke.
Did you like land it and roll in it too?
I don't know. I can't remember. It was traumatic. But every time I've ever hurt myself, it's been like for a really stupid fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I broke my arm at figure skating.
Slipping in cat puke is pretty freaking funny, though. That's a good story for down the road. I mean, it's not funny, obviously, what happens, but funny down the road.
No, it was pretty fucking funny.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I've been living like it's a pandemic since 2018, so.
Yeah, you've been working from home
I've worked from home for 2 years before the pandemic. I mean, the difference is obviously before the pandemic, I went out more and like did stuff with friends. Like we got together as like family or friends way more often, and now it's like a thing you have to like plan for a lot more, right? That's the biggest thing. You need that too. You need to be able to get together with people, like even if it's just once a month, you need to be able to get together with people or have like summer barbecues. Like no summer barbecues in 2 years is really shitty. We used to have like a big get together with all of our friend group, like, you know, every month or so, right?
You guys have the problem of when things began opening back up, you didn't remember how to socialize anymore?
I don't
know if that was a joke question or not.
No, it's a legitimate question because I went back to work and my work was very customer facing and people are so fucking awkward all of a sudden they don't know how to have a small talk conversation anymore. It's the weirdest thing. I'm used to being the awkward one and suddenly I was the one that was like holding the conversation because I was dealing with so many people throughout the day.
Right.
It was very strange.
I mean, I've always felt awkward in small talk, so it's still again no change for me.
Really?
Yes.
You always come off as like you're fairly comfortable.
I hate small talk, man. I never know what to say. That's why, I'm very comfortable with the people I know and the people I'm comfortable with. But that's like 20 people. Everybody else, it's not happening. I meet new people, man, and it's like, the worst.
I find I wasn't too bad because I found it as a great outlet through streaming because then I could just talk with people and then people talk back to you and then all of a sudden there's all this Discord people and you jump in and start chatting and then felt like that was pretty organic. So when I did go back out, I certainly felt weird being in public. I did miss the atmosphere of a lot of people around me. I like that, but I'm also a kind of person that was like when I used to live on my own, at a haircut, go get a haircut at this place MVP, and there was a restaurant, a pub right beside it, and I was single at the time, and I just went down to the pub and sat at the bar and had some food and chatted with people for hours before I got a haircut. People were like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, "I was bored." They're like, "But you don't know them." I'm like, "No." They're like, "How did you talk to them?" I'm like, "I just started asking them questions."
He's going to be the retired guy sitting at the bar every night. Yeah,
and I'm going to have a story for everything.
Everybody loves that guy.
No, they don't.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean, they either love him or they feel bad for him. It's one or the other. Like you see that old guy at the bar, you're like, "Oh, I kind of feel bad for that guy."
No, I didn't find too bad.
But also envy. I wish I was that guy.
Well, I mean, we had our own fun adventure where we got all the guys together and we went to the brew pub. That was interesting. That was...
We should do that again. That was when was that? That was like September or August.
Yeah.
We got together with like 5 or 6 of us, and that was our first get together in like a long time, a good year plus.
Yeah, it was fun chatting.
The last time we all got together, the group was at the beginning of the pandemic, and we were joking about this weird thing we had heard about in China that might be coming, like might be a disease coming to Canada. That was the last time we had all went out. It was like in February of like 2019.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, Dustin thought maybe Dustin's theory to the night. Is this worth talking about or not worth talking about?
I don't remember what the theory was.
It
just depends if it's appropriate or not.
Well, that's what I'm getting. Well, nothing's going to be bad, but there was a gentleman that approached the whole table of dudes, Tiffany.
Oh, you're talking about our last time going out. Yeah, okay.
We don't have to.
I mean, it's just weird to talk about it with my sister, but...
Well, I mean, nothing happened. It was
That's
just
true.
very...
That's true.
Nothing at all happened. Anyways, this
really
guy came...
Curious.
There's 2 women on the other side of the bar and this dude, and they were like looking at us. We're all joking and laughing, and then this guy comes over and starts talking to us. And at first, he made eye contact with me and then Jim, and then I was like, "Oh shit, something's gonna happen. Like maybe it's a jealous boyfriend or husband or something. I don't know."
Rob and I were sitting with across the bar at like a booth with there's 5 or 6 of us, 6 guys, but Rob and I were facing out, so we could see across the bar to this group of 2 girls and a guy. They were sitting at the bar on the opposite side of the bar from where we were. So they were facing us, we were facing them, and all of our other friends had their backs to them.
And this guy is like, "Okay, so..." He said, "Hope you're having a good night," and everything else. We're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's really weird." He's like, "All right, I got okay. First question," and he looks at me. He's like, "Are you single?" Because my friends are very interested. I'm like, "No, I'm engaged to be married." He's like, "Okay, well, you're the second choice," and points at Jim's like, "You're choice number 2." And Jim's like, "Thank you." Like, it's just really weird.
Hey man, I'm just happy to be included.
Flattering.
It was really weird. And we were all kind of like, "Okay," like, "No," and all that stuff. He's like, "Okay, cool." And he asked for her, which was nice, I guess. And then Dustin's theory was, that's just the friendly pimp.
He's a pimp, but they're prostitutes, is what Dustin thought.
What? Yeah.
So me and Jim
immediately where my mind went to. Or I thought he was going to ask you guys for like a foursome or something creepy.
He was apparently a friend of theirs, and like not in a relationship with either one. He was married apparently. He had like a wife or a girlfriend, and it wasn't one of those two. That was just. I mean, a guy can be friends with a girl with girls, and if they're single and they're interested in a guy,
and then and then he's like trying to pick up guys for them. That's.
But weird. Maybe, I mean, it might be more intimidating for 2 women to approach a table of 5 guys.
100%.
Right.
I mean, what did these 2 women look like?
I plead the 5th.
Okay, so.
Also, the waitress did say that they did see those women with.
We asked the waitress.
Other men.
We asked the waitress about those girls, and they said they're regulars to the bar. And we said, "Is there any chance that you think they're ladies of the night?" And she said, "No, not at all."
Oh,
she
right,
said,
yeah.
Yeah, like
but I have seen them with a lot of different people.
She said, "I see them with different people coming in, like different friends or guys or girls." But she's like, "No, they're not. They're not. Whatever." We're like, "All right." That was how the conversation went. But yeah, our friends that were with us were all like, "Nope, you guys got propositioned by prostitutes." Yeah, I mean, either way.
We got talked to by the pimp, not the prostitute.
Here's the thing. If you're a pimp or a prostitute, you don't come up and say, "My friend likes you," and then ignore everybody else. My friend says, "Hey, my friend," you'd come up and say, "My friend is looking to party. Anybody here single and want to party?"
Yeah, that's a good point.
If I'm a pimp, I go to a table of 5 guys. I'm not going to single out 1 or 2. I'm going to ask all 5. If I'm looking for potential customers for my whatever you call them, my hoe. That's what pimps call their ladies. I'm not calling anybody a hoe. Let me clarify. But if I'm
you seem to be well versed in the
term is sex worker.
No, not if you're a pimp. If you're a pimp, it's your hoe.
Maybe you're a PC pimp.
If you're, oh, that's true. Oh, dude, I'm politically
correct pimp.
It's like an SNL sketch.
Make some business cards. Yeah, it's totally an SNL sketch. Make some business cards. The PC pimp.
Yeah, he's the PCP.
This is my sex. This is my sex worker. She's been with 4 white men tonight, so I need to go for somebody that's a little bit of a different nationality. What's your background? What's your background? Politically correct. We gotta have equal representation of all races and cultures. Also, it's been all men. I need to find a woman for my prostitute.
I need to find me a woman.
We need to find me some women. I don't know why my pimp voice is like deep south.
I don't know. That's the stereotypical. You're not being very PC right now.
Stereotypical would not be a southern accent and be PC at all.
Don't.
That's the opposite of that. How shocking would that be, though? The PC pimp from Tennessee.
Yeah, I like that you went straight to Tennessee.
Clearly the least racist state. Possibly. I don't know. I don't have the facts or figures to back that statement up.
Possibly.
Anyways,
that was all gonna have to be cut out.
We were not wearing matching plaid either at the time, and to this moment, I maybe he should. Yeah, that's what we should have went with. We were both wearing plaid. She had a thing for guys with plaid.
Maybe she likes brothers.
Maybe.
Tiffany's like.
Anyways, that was the last time going. Our last time going out.
Yeah.
Is interesting. We also rented like a pub with nothing around. It was like a pub in like an outdoor mall. And so we were there for a while. It's the Canadian Brew Pub in Abbotsford.
Oh, okay.
Since we're there and there's nothing else really there, right? And it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And like, we don't want any of the food. The drinks are not great. The drinks were not very good. The food was good. The drinks were not very good. And they were expensive. So we're like, oh, we're going to go somewhere else. So we're Googling on our phones, like other places we can that are walking distance. Because none of us could drive. And like, we took an Uber there. And so we find this one called Bar One, stumble over there. It's actually the bar, or not stumble. We walk over there. It's like across the highway. We had to go over like the overpass over the highway. Okay. We get there and it's the bar that's attached to Denny's. Is it Denny's?
Yeah.
Or IHOP? Yeah, it's the Denny's in-house bar called Bar One. So we're like, okay, we're not fucking going there. So then we find this little like brew pub, not a brew pub, like a brewery, a brew house kind of place. And so we walk over to that. And it's closed for a private event. It's like closed for a private function. So we end up, after like settling our tab up and like leaving the other place, we end up walking back to the same place we were at all night, getting a new table, getting a new waitress as well, and just hanging out there and having more terrible drinks. But
oh yeah, what was the drinks we had? They were ridiculous.
They were not good drinks.
No, some pink princess or something was like bought me one, and it actually was like it was a glass of synthetic flavoring and alcohol.
But that being said, it's time to do it again. I agree. It's my first time taking an Uber. I've never taken an Uber in my life.
I've only taken an Uber in LA. I've never done it here.
I live in the sticks, man, and it took me right to my house. It was great. It was cheap. It was super cheap.
We did like the LA, what do you call it when it's like a bunch of strangers in a car with you? It's weird.
Carpool?
Yeah, like an Uber pool. And you get in and there's just like a random dude in the back seat. You're like, hi.
Hi, jump into the Uber pool.
Hi, friend. Yeah. It's the Uber pool.
The Uber pool is here for you.
See, that to me is my worst nightmare. Having to socialize with some random person, but you're stuck in a car. I've had a few drinks, no problem. But
that was fun.
It was also my moving on. It was also my first time in a Tesla.
Your Uber was a Tesla?
My Uber was a Tesla. Yeah.
Wow.
Our option was the Uber. It was Uber X was the only. There was no Ubers available for the way home. So we needed an Uber X, and it was like $3 more, and it came in a Tesla. It was crazy. The guy did not like Florida or anything. We didn't get to experience any of the.
It's a little unnerving, to be honest.
The wow factor, but
yeah, surprisingly, they have a ton of room.
Our upcoming movie review is going to be on Red Notice, right? Which we'll record on Sunday and release on Monday, and then our next snack time is going to be next week on Wednesday or Thursday, and that's going to be U.S. American snack foods.
So Butterfinger.
so Butterfinger. Yeah, I'm not sure how to figure out a few options. So yeah, all right. Well, thanks for listening, anybody that's here, and don't forget to check out our YouTube channel and drop a subscription. Thanks.